Welcome to the Christ Life Pill. Today, there is no blue pill for you to stay asleep. There is only the red pill, the choice to wake up and see how money, debt, and the financial system are quietly shaping your life, your work, your relationships, and even how you measure your own worth. In the movie The Matrix, Morpheus offers Neo two pills, a blue pill to stay in the comfortable illusion and a red pill to wake up and face a harsh, unsettling reality. The red pill represents the willingness to see the truth, even when it hurts, while the blue pill represents the decision to stay in blissful ignorance. Most of us, from the day we are born, go to school, get a job, build a family, are silently trained to choose the blue pill. We are told, over and over, work hard, get a stable job, save your money, keep it in the bank, and you will be safe. Your paycheck is presented as the pure measure of your value. The system says, don't question it. Just keep working, keep paying, keep consuming. But pause for a second and look around. Technology has exploded over the last few decades. Productivity has soared compared to the previous century. Yet people today are more exhausted, more anxious, and more financially stressed than ever. Median home prices in many American cities have grown far faster than median wages, making home ownership feel out of reach for many younger workers. Why can someone work a physically demanding job their entire life in a big U.S. city and never comfortably afford a home, while a speculator can flip a property or a piece of paper and make in a month what others make in a decade? Why do prices for groceries, rent, and healthcare climb year after year, while salaries lag behind? The problem is not that you are lazy. The problem lies in the nature of the thing you are holding in your hand and checking on your phone every day: money. Here is the cold truth. In the modern world, money is not designed to make the average person truly wealthy or truly free. It is designed first and foremost to serve those who create and control the money supply. Before 1971, the U.S. dollar was tied, at least in theory, to gold. Foreign governments could convert dollars into a fixed amount of gold, which put a limit on how many dollars could be created. Then came what is now called the Nixon Shock. In August 1971, President Richard Nixon suspended the ability of other countries to convert dollars into gold. This effectively ended the Bretton Woods system and the gold standard. From that point on, the dollar, like most other currencies in the world, became a pure fiat currency. It has value because the government declares it does, and because people collectively trust and accept it. Once the link to gold was cut, central banks and governments gained far more freedom to expand the money supply. Over time, this contributed to inflation and the gradual loss of purchasing power. Analysts estimate that since the early 1970s, the dollar has lost a very large share of its purchasing power, while the cost of major life essentials such as housing has risen dramatically faster than incomes. But printing money at the government level is only the surface. The deeper magic trick happens inside the commercial banking system, through something called fractional reserve banking. When you deposit your paycheck in the bank is not required to keep all of it in the vault. It keeps only a fraction as reserves and lends out the rest, while your account still shows your full balance. Through repeated cycles of deposit and lending, the banking system multiplies the amount of money in circulation far beyond the original cash base. Most of the money in the modern economy is not physical cash. It is digital credit, numbers in databases, created when banks issue loans. If everyone tried to withdraw all their money in cash at the same time, the system would not have enough bills to satisfy everyone. Meanwhile, the system creates the principal of the loans, but demands both principal and interest back. That means there is always more debt than money available, pushing the economy toward constant expansion of credit just to keep the game going. You might be wondering, if the game is tilted like this, is everyone doomed? The answer is no. But it does mean you cannot afford to live on autopilot. You cannot afford to swallow the blue pill and hope everything just works out somehow. You need to see the rules of the game clearly, so you can play differently. In today's world, debt is not simply a financial tool. It is a form of control. Mortgages, car loans, student loans, credit cards. Each of these can be useful in the right context, but together they can also become a web that silently dictates your choices. When a person is drowning in payments, they become easier to manage, easier to scare, and easier to manipulate. They will often stay in a job that drains their soul, say yes to unethical demands, or stay silent about injustice, just to keep the paycheck coming. The modern financial machine needs you to be just uncomfortable enough to keep running, but not uncomfortable enough to revolt. It needs you to stay busy, stay distracted, keep scrolling, keep buying, keep comparing your life to other people's highlight reels. If you ever step back long enough to ask, what is this all for? The spell might start to break. Let's step back and look at the bigger board. On the global stage, money is used not only to buy goods, but to buy influence, policy, and power. The U.S. dollar's role as the main reserve and trade currency gives the United States unique leverage in world affairs, from sanctions to trade agreements. For decades, many countries have held large reserves of dollars, partly to trade for oil and other essentials, effectively sharing the impact of U.S. monetary decisions. At the same time, flows of easy money can inflate bubbles in housing and stocks around the world. When interest rates are low and credit is loose, asset prices often soar. When rates rise sharply, those same markets can crash, leaving ordinary families stuck with debts they can no longer service or homes they can no longer afford to keep. History shows that when crises hit, the people who suffer most are usually not the ones who designed the system. They are workers, small business owners, and households who believed the promise that the market will always go up if you just keep investing, or that real estate only goes one way. A few cycles of boom and bust are enough to teach a harsh lesson. The system rewards those who understand how money works and punishes those who never had the chance to learn. But this is not the end of the story. Around the world, there have been attempts to build alternatives, or at least cushions, to reduce dependence on the traditional banking system. In Switzerland, for example, a complementary system called WIR has allowed participating businesses to trade with each other using an internal unit of account, helping stabilize economic activity during downturns. Local exchange trading systems, or LETs, have tried to keep value circulating inside communities by using credits based on time or services rather than national currency. These experiments are not perfect, and they are not magic fixes, but they point to an important truth. Money is a tool that humans invented. It is not a god. It is not a law of nature. It can be redesigned, repurposed, or supplemented when communities are willing to cooperate and trust each other. So what can you, as an individual, actually do, right here, right now, to step out of the matrix of money and live more freely? Let's talk about 4 practical pillars. Pillar 1, detox from easy money. Every time you see a promise of quick profits with almost no risk, slow down. Ask yourself who really benefits if you say yes. Many people in America have learned the hard way through speculative bubbles in meme stocks, over-leveraged real estate, or high-risk crypto plays that what looks like a shortcut is often a trap. The faster the promised payoff, the more carefully you should examine the fine print. High-interest consumer debt is one of the heaviest chains you can wear. Credit cards, buy now, pay later, and high-fee personal loans can quietly drain your future before you even earn it. When a large portion of your paycheck goes to interest, your time is no longer fully yours. You are working for lenders first, yourself second. Red pill living means getting aggressive about paying off toxic debt and refusing to normalize it as a way of life. Pillar 2, move from paper promises to real value. Fiat money loses purchasing power over time. It has for decades. That does not mean you should panic or hoard cash under a mattress. It does mean you should think strategically about where you store the fruit of your labor. Instead of keeping everything in checking and savings, consider how much of your wealth can be gradually converted into assets with real-world usefulness and scarcity. Skills, tools, education, productive businesses, and essential goods your family truly uses. Not everyone can buy land or invest in large projects, and that is okay. Real value can also mean learning a trade that people will always need, building a home garden, acquiring tools that let you repair instead of replace, or starting a small side business that serves a real need in your community. The point is to rely less on the illusion that numbers on a screen will always translate into security, and more on things that hold value even when markets shake. Pillar 3, Invest deeply in human capital, in yourself and in others. Markets can crash, bubbles can burst, but a well-trained mind, a strong body, and a grounded character can walk through storms in ways that money alone cannot. In every serious crisis, there are people who rebuild faster because they have skills, relationships, and resilience. A skilled nurse, a dedicated teacher, a wise counselor, a competent electrician, a reliable mechanic. These people are needed in every economic climate. Human capital also includes your emotional and spiritual health. If your identity is entirely tied to your net worth, market volatility will feel like an attack on your soul. If, instead, you root your identity in something deeper, in your faith, your values, your relationship with God and the people you love, money becomes a tool instead of a master. You can engage with it seriously, but you no longer worship it. Pillar 4. Simplify and reconnect. The more your happiness depends on constant consumption, the easier you are to control. When you learn to enjoy simple things, a walk in nature, a deep conversation, time in prayer, time creating something meaningful, you become less vulnerable to every new advertisement telling you that you are not enough until you buy one more thing. Minimalism is not about living an aesthetic Instagram life. It is about cutting away distractions that steal your time and attention without giving you true joy. It is choosing to spend less on things that do not matter so you can invest more in what does. Your family, your calling, your health, your community, and your walk with God. There is also a community dimension to all of this. One isolated person has limited power against a complex system, but a small group of people who share values and support each other can be incredibly resilient. Imagine a circle of families who share tools, exchange services, teach each other skills, and step in when someone loses a job or faces a medical crisis. That is more than networking. That is a modern expression of genuine community. Throughout history, some minority communities have survived hardship by practicing strong internal support, lending to each other, hiring from within, mentoring the younger generation, and circulating resources, instead of letting them leak out immediately. You do not have to copy any one group's model, but you can learn from the principle. When people trust each other and act intentionally, they are less dependent on distant institutions that do not know their names. At this point, you might feel a little overwhelmed. That is normal. Taking the red pill is rarely comfortable. But remember, the purpose of this episode is not to fill you with fear. It is to give you clarity and agency. Fear thrives in confusion. Peace grows when you understand the terrain you are standing on. Once you see the gears turning inside the machine, you can stop expecting it to be something it was never designed to be. The current financial system, with all its unfairness and fragility, is not eternal. Monetary regimes change, empires rise and fall, technologies evolve. New forms of money, from digital payment systems to community currencies, will continue to emerge. You do not control those large-scale shifts, but you do control how you prepare your heart, your household, and your habits. In the years ahead, the world may experience more volatility, in markets, in politics, even in social order. That is all the more reason not to build your life on illusions. Money is a powerful servant, but a terrible master. When you let it decide your worth, it will always demand more and never say, "You are enough." When you put it back in its proper place as a tool to serve God's purposes and to love people well, it becomes far less frightening. So here is the question this episode leaves you with. Which pill will you take with your money life? Will you keep chasing the blue pill promise that if you just work harder, buy smarter, and follow all the conventional rules, the system will eventually reward you? Or will you take the red pill? Accept that the game is wired in certain ways, refuse to be a passive piece on the board, and start acting like a free person who builds real value, real character, and real community? You do not have to overhaul everything overnight. Start small, pay off one toxic debt, learn one new practical skill, have one honest conversation about money with someone you trust. Give one intentional gift of time or help without expecting anything in return. Each small act is a step away from slavery and a step toward freedom. This is the Christ life pill. You have seen a glimpse of the code behind the world of money. Now the choice is in your hands. Will you drift back into the comfortable dream, or will you wake up, stand up, and live as if your life, your soul, and your future belong to more than a number on a screen.